due to broken bones in his back. And the NFL doles out quick and stern punishment in the Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett, suspending him for at least the balance of the regular season. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97to1theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
What's up, my man? A little better weather today than last week. Okay,
No
and
doubt.
we also got a big game in there. You know what? East Lansing's in Ann Arbor right now. East Lansing is in Ann Arbor right now.
They got a shot here. Everyone's got a shot, but we're
Let's
going to
go
give you
green.
1 hour of the Mortgage Real Estate Show. Of course, we'll always mix in a little bit of sports in there, and we bring in a great team from Kathy Toss team, the team leaders here, of course. Hey, Bill Baker, how are you?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, my man?
Big game in town today, or what?
Boy.
I like how you're sporting the blue and the gold over there.
Yeah,
the
Blue and
yeah,
gold,
yeah.
Harry, it's
The
amazing blue.
amazing blue
Even
and all
I
that.
know that.
It's you gotta
He's a
wear the blue.
Wisconsin guy.
Gotta wear the blue. That's all. Yeah, Wisconsin. Nebraska. Hopefully, it's not called the Illini game, right?
That's right.
Kristen,
Exactly.
Kristen Ebert joins us also, your top listing agent.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. You guys are Keller Williams Realty out there in the Ann Arbor, Dundee area and that whole southeast Michigan corridor. We were just outside naming all the cities that you guys really touch, and there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of great hot markets. And the last few shows and a whole bunch of stuff I wrote in today's show has to do with walkable cities. And there's no doubt that that's really your backyard. All of those cities really have cute little downtown areas where you can walk around.
Yes. Ann Arbor obviously is great for the downtown walkable environment. In the surrounding cities too, Dexter, Chelsea, Saline, all great areas to
Brighton.
get out and experience.
Brighton's
Brighton.
fantastic. I mean, it's got a great downtown area. It's amazing.
There you go. You guys even go up towards the Brighton area and
We
everything.
do, yep. We cover Washtenaw, Livingston, Wayne, and Oakland counties.
The greater Ann Arbor areas. How's that
Luxury
sound?
homes, vacation homes, rental
Absolutely.
properties. How is that market there? Every time I go up to Ann Arbor or the East Lansing area, I see these great houses where, the landlords must be making a ton of money on them. They got 5 or 6 big bedrooms in there and they're getting $1,200 a month. Do you see a lot of that? Do you still get a lot of the families that want a piece of the college life, owning a rental property in a college town?
Oh, sure. And I think Bill can speak on this too. He's got a great idea for people who need a way to afford their children
Oh, great idea.
college. You do, right?
Well, she
you
puts
can
me on
buy
the spot,
an
guys. There you
investment
go.
property and rent to all of your students' friends
Oh, yeah.
and recoup some of the costs.
Hey, if you think about it, and she's right, if you're doing a rental property down by university, I mean, you're getting $1,000
A person,
plus
a
per
head.
bedroom.
That's right. A head, right.
I always say bedroom because that makes it the legal way of saying it.
Right.
And so if you think about it, you're going to make some cash on there. You're going to get a monthly income. There's a way to structure that where your kid is actually the manager. Give them a few bucks for that. You set up a corporation for it. And then when they're done, sell it and you paid for their education.
Yeah, but once you get that rental property going, that investment property going, and even if it's for your son or daughter, then they're going to have their friends in there. But once they graduate, once they leave, it's passed down through
Exactly.
other students that go there that want to live in that house. So that's the way it works. And, we're proud to do investment properties in both cities, in both Ann Arbor and in East Lansing. We've done a lot of them throughout the years.
Yeah, of course. Any of the cities here, even if your kids are going to Kalamazoo College, there's some great opportunities
I know
there.
Kalamazoo College.
There you go. You know that one.
How
a
do you
little
know
bit.
that?
I do. My son went there.
Oh, okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
There you
That's
go.
it.
What are you finding out that, you guys are trying to get the market loaded with new homes out there? We know the inventory is a little bit on the lighter side now. The information that we're getting there, the statistics say it's definitely a little bit on the lighter side. 98,000 less homes on the marketplace now than there was in 2018 in October. The numbers just came in. What do you find with buyers that you're working with right now, or what's your temperature on it? What do you feel they're looking for in a house?
Well, I mean, affordability is pretty low in Ann Arbor right now. There's not a lot of homes on the market, like you said. It's about 20% lower inventory-wise than it has been year over year for the last 5 years or so. But it is starting to creep up finally. We're past due for a bit of a shift in the market. So we're hoping to see an influx of new homes for sale so we can help our buyers get out of those competitive multiple offer situations and make their real estate goals come true.
Hey, Ryan, if you're out there, that's your wife talking. I know you're jealous that you're not on the radio, but she really knows what she's talking about. It's phenomenal.
She's good, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really good. I'm
man.
glad you brought her.
And I've got an incredible team over in Ann Arbor and Dexter area, and it started with Kathy Toth. Kathy Toth did a fantastic job of assembling these folks. She's been doing it for 30 years, guys, and she is the name in real estate in that area. And so for me to come in and be a part of this team and to be working with somebody like Kristen Ebert or Ryan Ebert. Ryan is one of our buyer agents and one of our newest listing agents.
Can we talk about buyer's agency? Talk about buyer's agency relationships.
Well, buyer agency is something that has always been available in real estate, but what we're seeing is people don't really understand the true value of what it's all about. And it's really about protecting the buyer and representing them. Now, what's that mean? Is it going to cost them anything? No, it's not going to cost, because in most cases, the listing agreement has already been set up to give a percentage of the commission to the buyer agent. But what's really important for the consumer is it's what the buyer agent can see and know about a property or a market that they're allowed to tell their client, but they can only do that if they sign a piece of paper.
Right, because in the state of Michigan, and I'm not familiar with other states' laws, rules, and regulations, but in the state of Michigan, you have a fiduciary responsibility to the seller, because the seller is the one that is listing the house and paying the commissions. So the difference between that relationship and a buyer's agency relationship is that your responsibility is to
the seller until he signs the buyer agency.
Correct.
So an EBA is what we call them, executed buyer agency agreement.
Yeah. Good.
They can share a little bit of additional information about the home, about the neighborhood. If there's some obsolescence that's just not out there yet, they might be building the new Walmart complex or something in your backyard. You need to know that. Having local agents or having knowledgeable agents, I think, separate the good from the bad out there.
Well, you know, the thing is that if you don't have the representation, you may pay too much for a house. If you don't have a representation, you may buy the wrong house. Now, what I mean by that is there's some hidden markets. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but think about it going into the spring market from winter last year, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going in there and you need to buy a house and you weren't familiar with the market and you weren't working with a real estate agent, you probably blew every chance you had to buy your dream home. But if you'd been working with that agent, they would have said, come high, come hard, let's get it done. And that's one of those little secrets you have with working with an agent.
The buyer's agent, too, I feel like they sort of step in and talk about all those things that are very important. I mean, we like to stay in our lane. We always say in our industry. But yes, clients are coming to us and talking about total money they're working with. A lot of the clients are coming in with a couple $1,000s. So like last night, I was in a conversation, and sure enough, the house has a well and septic. So that conversation came up where he was like, well, I got to do a well and septic report. And he had $2,500, not a lot of money he was working with. So I said, let's be really careful here. Maybe we're better off doing the well and septic inspection if that's what you're going to do before you do the home inspection. And that takes a real good agent to point these things out that if that's no good, if that septic system's no good and we can't make a deal on that, then it doesn't matter what the condition of the house is.
Exactly. Harvey, you know what the thing is that people have the myth that if I don't use a buyer agent, then the commission will be less for the seller. And it's not true. And the reason for that, everybody, is that it's already been decided. It's in the listing contract that has been agreed to between the selling broker and the seller that's out there. So you should be represented. And, I use a description about buyer agents and saying that you're on trial for murder and the prosecutor is representing you.
Yeah, that's not
unless
good.
You're a buyer agent and then you have a defense attorney.
Well, that's harsh.
I know.
That's harsh, my man.
I could have
little law.
Well,
that's a great analogy.
I could have used divorce, but I don't. That's, that's too close to home.
Well,
we'll talk about all those things.
Yeah, those who know me know that. I'm in love with a divorce attorney.
All right.
I am. Sure.
Oh, hey, we're going to take your calls all morning long. 248-539-9797. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can reach us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. And we have a full staff all weekend long. It's really key. I head back to the office here. Got to get an approval letter out there, run someone's credit, really put a transaction together, as I was talking last night with the VA. And definitely wanted to point out what a great opportunity out there for all our veterans who've come back and served the country already. VA eligibility, even if you want to get it for your second time. That's right. You could have bought a house VA 2, 3, 4 years ago, sold that house. You can come back and go zero down again. Now, the VA funding fee is a little bit heavier, 3.3% versus the 2.15%. But again, zero down, without getting too technical, zero down for our VA, for all our veterans out there. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, find out how you could become a homeowner. So it doesn't even take a whole lot of money to make sure that you're set up for home ownership. You guys, you got a lot of the first-time buyers still. And are you seeing that the majority of the buyers are coming with a lot more down payment, maybe versus last year? Or are they looking for a minimal down, maybe even to fix up the house?
I think it's a pretty even mix, depending on the price point the person's purchasing in. They oftentimes need a little help with down payment, or they're looking for those zero down loan programs.
All right, maybe more of the first-time home buyers looking to get in for a little bit less money.
Yeah.
Still paying off those college loans. All right, when that music says we're up against our first break, we got tons of knowledge to share with you here. Keep it on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. The best mortgage banker. Give us a call. Get refinance. That's right. Rates are still down. We talk about them bumping up. Get it done. Cash out refinance backs, getting people consolidated. Always a great way to fly. Dropping the loan term. We really like that. Yeah, pulling the money out, not necessarily getting a home equity loan. That interest rate could bump up on you. Most HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, are adjustable rate mortgages. Don't like that idea there if you're getting that, especially if we can sort of take a look at your current mortgage and that opportunity still just to have one mortgage. I like having one payment versus two.
Yeah.
Keep you out of trouble.
Refinances are really strong right now. The market, even though there was a little bit of a rate influx, they're huge. I mean, rates are still at 30, 40-year lows. Even with this little bit of a tick that we've seen, it still makes sense. So you need to call us if you have PMI. Even if you bought a house last year and you have PMI, it still makes sense for us to look at possibly reducing that rate, save you that money, because the rates right now are still lower than when they were a year ago.
Why not jump in and maybe take a look at home ownership for your family's gifts this year for the holiday season? Bill West, of course, is joining us all morning long. X1 Realty in downtown Farmington. Bill, what's the number of the office there? Where do people catch you there?
Sure, I'll give you the number that'll direct directly into me and to my assistant. It's 248-270-2702. That's 248-270-2702. So if you guys have any questions, like we talked earlier about occupancy or trying to find that house of choice, we have really fine-tuned, honed.
That's fine.
Our listings. So if anybody out there's having a problem selling and their listings coming up expiring, or if you guys are thinking about putting your house on the market, I'd really like to show you guys what we do differently.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, there's no doubt. You get a professional like you, and now you start looking around the house, and there's things that you can point out as a qualified, experienced real estate agent. There's a difference there. Your expertise, you come in, and all of a sudden, you're telling them to fix small little items that keep your dollars. You're going to net more for the house. Also, you're going to avoid any issues after they do the home inspection on the property because you address these things ahead of time. And a lot of times, again, just really presenting the house in a little bit better way ends up saving you a couple $1,000s.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of homeowners, too, they'll be looking at maybe a major project. Like maybe I want to finish my entire basement before we get it on the market.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. There you go. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Only 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show every Saturday morning. That way you can get your man cave all set up. I like the guys who call in, hey, Harvey, when are we going to talk about sports? As soon as you can get into a house, and then you can talk about your man cave and get those season tickets and all that other stuff.
Don't forget about those she sheds. Come on.
She sheds are cool.
She sheds are way cool.
Very cool.
So how does a guy from Wisconsin get to Michigan? And how do we get to meet a guy from Wisconsin when he moves to Michigan? Well, Bill is he was in Madison, Wisconsin. He knows a lot of people that we know. You know, we're powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage. And he did business with our Fairway affiliates in Wisconsin, in Madison. So I get a call, said this guy from Wisconsin. That's right, Wisconsin.
Racine.
Wisconsin.
Okay. Wisconsin. So
Racine, by the way.
He's moving to Ann Arbor. I said, great. So my friend Joe Thiessen from Fairway in Madison, he says, call Bill Baker. So Bobby and I decide that we're going to go out and meet this guy in person. So we walk in. And he says, hey, I was on the radio for 5,000 years. And I said, well, then, you know what? Guess what? We have a radio show. We'd love you to be on the radio. His eyes lit up. And the good news, he brought his better half, Kristen, in, which is good. But it's been a nice relationship. He's a sports guy. He's got his Wisconsin here. He's hiding his Wisconsin jacket behind his U of M, which is very smart.
Thank you.
To wear a U of M jacket, since he is in the Ann Arbor market and there is a big game today. So that's a good move on your part. So you're a pretty smart guy.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You know, you got to take what you can get.
Take your calls here, 248-539-9797. Again, buying or selling a house, definitely give us a phone call. We'll give you some insight on it. If your house has been on the market too long, what's too long, Kristen? I was going to throw it out there. What is too long in today's marketplace?
21 days.
That's too long?
Well,
really?
it also, again, it depends on the price range. But at least in our market in the Ann Arbor area, if a home is priced right, it's going to sell pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think the national average is something like 63 to 66 days, but that's from the time it hits the marketplace until the time it's sold. So, but in your market, homes go quick. 21 days. In other words, if you have the house on the market, you're getting lots of action. If it's priced right, you got motivated sellers, you're going to get an offer within the first 3 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you know what, Harry? Here's the thing. I mean, the industry talks about absorption rates, okay? And so they'll do a general rate across the entire area. They'll say Michigan. They'll say an absorption rate of 3 right now, like 3.6, I think, for the entire state of Michigan. But and what that means is, folks, by the way, is that there's a 3-month supply of inventory in that area, in our state of Wisconsin, or Michigan, sorry.
Yes.
Michigan. But if you break it down by cities, I'm going to tell you right now, most real estate companies and agents don't know this, or they don't break it down well enough. Well, at the Toth Team, we do. We can tell you the hidden markets within the market itself. And so if you look at an Ann Arbor market, it says generally about a 3.6, 3.8 month supply of inventory. Guess what? There are buyer markets in there. There are all day long. Now they're in the upper price points.
Okay.
600, 800, 900, $1 million. Now in the $1 million, we sell quite a few $1 million homes, guys.
Why not?
But it's a buyer's market. So why am I telling you this? Why is this so important? It's important because if you're working with an agent that doesn't understand that it's a buyer's market, when he's listening to Katie Kirk say it's a seller's market, and you go to put an offer in, you're going to overpay for a property.
Yeah, that's some good knowledge
Every single
there.
time. Every single time. Or if you're, let's say in the Ann Arbor market, we know, say $150,000 house. Now that usually gets a chuckle because that house maybe last hours.
Right.
Hours.
It's
It's
gone.
sold before. Yeah. But if you, let's say even $300,000 and you're working with a buyer agent, has no idea what the market is.
Right.
And the buyer says, well, I'd like to come in about, $10,000 less. A good, knowledgeable buyer agent, especially one of ours like Craig or Jeannie or Ryan, Danielle, Bethany, they know to say, you can write that offer, but you're not getting this house.
Yeah, you're spinning your wheels at this point. You're going to miss out on all these great opportunities.
Right, and they've got a great team. Just like you guys, you have a wonderful lender that's there supporting you. You've got a real estate agent that's supporting you to help you as the consumer to make the right decision.
Yeah.
And so if you've got that market that's a strong seller's market and a buyer agent says, oh, yeah, why don't you just write it for $20,000 less?
Yeah. But Harvey, Christian,
Huge
and Bill,
mistake.
people have to realize that Ann Arbor, that area is,
Oh my gosh.
is it's on fire. It's a booming market.
Right.
The values are higher. So Harvey, which leads to talk about the FHA loan limits in Ann Arbor versus the metropolitan Detroit area.
Well, they're saying now they're up there.
Yeah, which is what?
$314,827. You're gonna be able to buy one of those homes at a minimal 3.5% down. Like, of course, conventional loans have 3% down too, but you might have had a little problem in your past where the FHA loan is a little bit more inviting to you. You might have lower credit scores. You might need some seller's concessions. You might need all gift money. So FHA approval and an FHA mortgage might suit you well in that area.
Sure.
Again,
But
that value's up, that loan amount's up there.
But think about it this way too. The average price right now in Ann Arbor is $451.
Wow.
Yeah.
$451. It's up over 5% same time last year. I mean, we talk about affordability a lot of times, but people don't understand what that means at times. And you guys, it's all about you, really, to be honest with you. It's your job to give them the money. But they need to understand that as those prices rise, they buy less house.
What about the situation? We see this quite a bit now. There's a lot of families that want to downsize. There's the empty nesters that want to downsize. Where are they going? You know, we know that the inventory is really low to begin with, and then we're talking right. Where are they? Where are they going to find the ranch? Obviously, the first thing is typically an empty nester doesn't want to deal with the stairs. They're looking towards the next 20 years of their life, and so they are looking for the ranch, the opportunities out there. What do you see out there? Informs a strategy, and when you're working with this seller, he's going to sell this gorgeous colonial. We know it's going to fly off the market. It's $500,000 in the Ann Arbor area. These are multiple listing opportunities. Where does he go, and how do you guys put that purchase agreement together so that it gives them enough time?
Sure. I mean, well, the options there are pretty unlimited. I notice at least a lot of the people who are leaving Ann Arbor are looking for more of a country feel, and they'll go into the surrounding communities, Dexter, Chelsea, Saline,
Pinckney.
Pinckney.
We've got a great one in Pinckney.
Sure, yeah.
The very artistic.
Tell us about it.
It's setting back into the woods and all that. It's got a climbing wall in it.
Okay, those are good to have.
It's in Dexter, but
Oh, it isn't. I
2
thought it was
acres in
Pinckney.
Dexter over off of Donovan Road. It's very artistic style wise.
How long has that house been on the market? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's been on the market for a couple of weeks now. It's unique in style. It's got a beautiful first floor master suite. Almost a secret passageway from the first level to the second level. You can do the climbing wall if you don't want to use the traditional staircase.
Honest to God, a climbing
It's a
wall.
pretty cool house.
It is
Oh,
a
way
pretty cool
cool.
house.
It's going to take a special buyer, a unique buyer, to
It is.
take a look at that property and say, you know what, this one's for me. They all do. I mean, it's not in a lot and sub, and it's not a lot and subdivision. So it's a special house. It's going to sell. Somebody's going to buy the house.
Right, Harry. They are all unique houses.
Well,
it always takes a unique buyer for every house, but
Yeah.
this one is
They all-
set
they
back
all
into the woods,
eventually
man.
sell.
It is so cool.
Yeah. How many acres is it on?
2 acres.
2 acres.
And how far from Ann Arbor?
15 minutes. Yeah.
There you go.
You
There
can
you
still
go.
go to school, work at the university, the hospital, and the surrounding areas.
And what do I say? Sign here, press hard. For us older guys, we understand what that means. Sign, sign here, press hard.
Take your calls all morning long, 248-539-9797. Do you want it, you're looking at me like you want to jump in with something
Oh, no, I was
interesting?
just going to
That's
say,
okay.
you
Yeah.
can structure the sale of your current home in many different ways, and you can afford yourself some time to get out. So if you've got that hot property in Ann Arbor and you want to downsize and move out, we can structure the purchase contract so that you have the time in the house to move.
Right. Well, in other words, you get the house on the marketplace, you decide which buyer you're going to go with, you're all set, you've had the conversation with them, and they understand that you need some time potentially to find a house.
Right.
Now, once you have yours sold, you have that confidence to move forward.
Sure.
Now where do you go? So now you get your sellers out there in the marketplace, and they start finding homes that are going to work for their needs. But they don't have to have that pressure of knowing that they still got to sell their house. It's already sold.
Right.
And then they could just pull the trigger on it and move forward and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get that too. They might find a house that's the same situation for that seller.
Right.
Lot of snowball effects
Stars
here.
align.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to get them all lined up. All right, we want to hear from you this morning. 248-539-9797. Talked a little bit about that because people are staying put in their homes. We're seeing a little bit more of it. And of course, in Michigan, one of the reasons why is because your property taxes are capped. So you've lived in the house for 10 years already. Downsizing doesn't always mean you're going to save money.
Right.
Maybe it's just the style of the home you're looking for.
So what I want people to know, though, if you're going to stay in your house for a while, if you've decided I'm staying put for whatever reason, do a few freshers. Do some things, fix that house up, and if you want call us. We'll let you know what you should work on. You don't want to go and pour a bunch of money into the house and not be able to recoup that cost. Is it a roof? Is it carpeting? Is it flooring? Is it paint, for God's sakes? I mean, we will walk you through. Every day we get requests for seller values. We have to go up against that dreaded thing called Zestimates, which, by the way, folks, is never, ever, ever accurate. In fact, yes, don't trust it. Just call us, would you? Call the tow team. We will tell you what the exact value is for your home. And that's going to take looking at what the history is, what's the comps, what's the actives and solds. More important for me, I think it's the actives if you're going to sell your house. But we're going to tell you what the market is doing also. Because believe me, right now, the market is different than it was back in June or July.
There's no question about that. We get that all the time, too.
Oh, yeah.
When we go ahead and we look at people call something, they say, well, Harry, dangerous question, Harry, what do you think the value of my house should be? Well, first of all, I'm not an appraiser. Second of all, we have to get an appraiser out there, licensed, independent, insured, bonded appraiser to go out and do an appraisal of the house. They're going to tell us, and they're going to pull the sales, and they're going to pull the comparables, and we'll get you that number.
So let's talk about appraisals when we come back, all right?
Sounds great. 248-539-9797. All your calls. We'll be right back. With someone who's been around the block a few times?
We got to get to the closing table.
Yeah.
We're at 100% closure rate with Becky. So
I think that's a good one.
Anything we bring to her, her knowledge, and the fact that you guys have in-house underwriting, which is who actually approves the loan, means that we have a really good idea and a really good picture going into this. So we never have surprises.
So, Bill, how do you feel about this? First time in 30 years. Been doing this 30 years, right? That's a long time. And like you said, we have underwriting in-house, on-site processing and closing, funding, everything we do in our building, right? So for the first time in 30 years, right? And you say we always get them to the table. Good loans always close. They always do. I had a broker, a well-known broker in the area. I'm in my office. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9:15, and our receptionist, Stephanie, says, Harry, I have somebody a broker in the office that wants to talk to you. I said, okay. Guy shows up. Nice guy. Been around a long time. Just shows up unannounced, wanting to know if we're going to close on a transaction. Now, the only thing I can think of is somebody's not telling somebody something. Okay, because why would the guy show up when I told everybody we're closing it? For a broker to wake up first thing in the morning, get in their car, come to our office unannounced, there was a lot of bad information. Now, of course, it closed, and it closed 2 o'clock that afternoon. So we had our closing manager, Tina Brown, who's been with us for a very long time, come in and say, hey, listen, we didn't get the call from the title company until yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, there's a lot of the times that don't happen.
So for the first time in 30 years, I've got somebody coming in our office unannounced, wondering if a loan is going to close. Couldn't believe it.
Our coffee's not that good.
And of course it closed. Gave him coffee, water,
little
whatever.
Maxwell House, the old school stuff.
The point of this to you is you're a broker. The communication that you have with Becky, with our office, we have good communication in our office. And we told people, listen, as soon as we get the call from the title company, we'll put the package together because you have to reconcile information from both sides. There's a buyer side and there's a seller side, right?
That's right.
And when you have a split closing, I'm talking technical here, when you have two title companies involved, they have to reconcile their numbers and get them to us.
Right.
And then we do the final papers and then disperse them, of course, now electronically to everybody. So if you don't get the paperwork till late in the day, one day, can you close that same day? Maybe. But you're probably going to close the next day at the very earliest. So the communication is the key. We say that all the time. The dissemination of accurate versus inaccurate information is the key. Now, what I found out subsequent to this was, guess what? The selling agent told their seller something differently than what was going on and never relayed it to everybody else.
It's all about communication. What do you think about that, Bill?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the other thing. We work as a small team. We work together on the transactions, which is really nice. I have a guy that runs point once a contract is in place, and he keeps that communication going. He's talking to both
anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by the LaFontaine Automotive Group, the family deal.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:30. If you're just joining us, hey, pretty day outside, getting up to about 33 degrees. If you're out there tailgating the Michigan State game, take it easy. The traffic's definitely all backed up. They said all the way to 7 Mile on 275.
If you're on your way, tell everybody we said hi and be safe and have fun and be responsible.
There you go.
That's the old guy in me talking.
There you go.
Just
There
be
you go.
responsible.
And a sober guy to boot.
Thank you.
Doesn't do that stuff. That's good. Hey, real quick, let's go out to the calls. 248-539-9797. Got some great callers up there. Let's start off with Tim first. We got Tim calling in from Grand Blanc. Good morning, Tim. Welcome to our show.
Hey, good morning, folks. Thank you for taking my call.
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm in a little bit of a situation. I'm buying a house in Goodrich, Michigan, and we had a purchase agreement, and we got the appraisal, and it came in well below the purchase price. So the buyer wanted a second appraisal. They paid for that, and the second one came in well above. So I'm talking a $53,000 swing in appraisal.
Man,
Wow.
that's
nuts. Normal,
insane.
or what are we
no.
doing?
Well, first of all, we don't see that big of a swing. Usually it's maybe $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 swing, maybe. And you have to take a look at really both appraisals. I'm telling you that to me, when I hear that, both of them need to be scrutinized, both of them. So, you got to take a look at it, and you have to say to yourself, I'd have to take a look at them. I'd like to take a look at them for you. If you want to email them to me, I'll look at it for you. And, I'd love to go ahead and give you my opinion on it. But I think I have not seen it that different in a very long time.
Well, Tim,
what did your real estate agent say about it?
Well, I talked to him, and the real estate agent said they thought the first one, the comps were really not correct comps. And then the second one, he said he felt like that was a little more accurate. And the houses in the area are a little bit closer to the second appraisal, but I got to be honest, I'm not sure what the value of the house I'm buying in is, and do I really want to pay what the agreed upon price was when I don't know the value of the home?
Tim, I'm going to let the real estate agents answer. Do you guys think that this is where we got to really pull those comparable sales in the neighborhood and try to really pinpoint what's going on? You're going to match up the square footage. You're going to match up the style of the home. What do you think, Kristen?
Sure. Is the property, is it a country property or is it in a subdivision? Do you think, is there a reason that a person would have troubles finding homes that were comparable to it?
Yeah, there was only 3 homes that sold in like the last 9 months within the area. It's a little bit of a rural setting. It's on a street with just 10 lots on it, and they're all like 3 to 7 acre lots. This is about a 5 acre lot. So it's a little bit country, but it is kind of in a group of homes, if you will.
Sure. So, that's a huge swing.
Tim, what are the numbers? Yeah, what is the number? What's the purchase price and what was the last appraisal?
The agreed upon price was $480. The first purchase price or the first appraisal was $436. The second was $489.
The thing that concerns me is, first of all, and it probably didn't come out this way, but this is what I heard from you. You said your real estate agent thinks it should be this way. First of all, they should know exactly what it's worth. It's not too hard to do your homework, do your comps, and know exactly what the value of that property is, give or take a few $1,000s. And I'm gonna say that you have a really good agent, and I would say follow what they're saying to you in your guidance, and because they're not going to let you overpay for a house.
Well,
Right.
and what do you want here? My question to you is, what would you pay for that house? You obviously agreed on the purchase price.
Well,
So
they
how
have
do
an
you
offer.
feel about it? You made the offer. They
Yeah.
accepted the offer. The first appraisal sounds a little bit funky to me.
Yeah, it does.
But tell me about where's your comfort zone? Where's your head at, and what makes you comfortable and want to go through with the transaction?
Well, we agreed. The purchase price, we agreed on the $480. The house
Right.
was listed for $5. We agreed on $480, and I was comfortable with that until I saw the first appraisal at $436. Now, the first appraisal was a national appraiser, so my real estate agent said the second appraiser is local, knows a lot more about the market,
There you go.
and would be a more accurate appraisal. But
Has anybody
$53,000
Has
swing
anybody
makes me
offered
nervous.
up? Has anybody offered up you talking to the appraiser directly?
They have not.
Well,
His phone number's right on
I
that
mean, yeah,
report.
it's on the you can get a copy of that appraisal. That's an obligation, and then give them a call.
Yeah,
Why not?
they might take your call. They might not. Again, I would want to talk to both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, just
All right.
gather a little bit more information, I think, from them. I'd like to get their perspective on it.
Sure,
Are
sure.
you okay? Hey, look, you love the house at 480.
Yeah.
You know, you loved it 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when you first signed that purchase agreement. Look, I run into different families all the time. If this is where you're going to live, in Grand Blanc, I come across a lot of doctors. They're working at the hospital. They don't mind maybe even overpaying $50,000 or $60,000. They're not going anywhere, and this is the type of house they want. Is that more of what you're thinking?
If it's a lifestyle move for you and you're comfortable with it, I think you have to do your due diligence, call the appraiser up, say, hey, listen, here's the story, and then find out, get your questions answered so you have some peace of mind.
Well, the other thing is he's now with a local appraiser who knows the market, none of this national crud. I mean, that's where the problem comes in. You know, one of the things we do at the Toth team that I think is unique is we are, as a listing agent, Kristen being my number one agent, she's out there when the appraiser's there. She's giving the appraiser the comps. She's giving them the information, so there are no mistakes like this.
Listen, on our properties, what we like is I want to see a local appraiser. Forget about
Absolutely.
I want to see somebody from the, even if they're in the same county, if they're not from that area of that county, how do they really know? But, you know, I know there's, you know, the information resources are pretty good, but you know, you're talking about a $50,000 difference here.
That's huge. What did he miss? Did he forget that there was a house there or something? I don't know.
Tim, what did he
think
miss?
Part of it was when they pulled the second comps, and I'm not sure which comp is right. When they pulled the second, you guys know where Goodrich is. They went as far south as into Clarkston to pull comps.
Yeah, a little bit too
that's
south.
A whole different price break there.
Yes.
I would like to see him negotiate a little. At the end of the day, I like what Harry's. I like all this stuff. This chatter we're talking about here is you getting your questions answered. Call the appraiser, see if you can get a word in with them. Maybe dig into some other comparable sales. But at the end of the day, they don't have. It's a very unique property in the Grand Blanc area. Obviously, 5 acres. Potentially, there is some room there. And again, I'm the mortgage guy. We always want you to buy it for less. The agents want you to buy it for more.
No. Because if we have somebody pay too much for a house, they'll never use us again.
Right.
We want them to pay the market value with a fair price, a win-win scenario for everybody.
I love that. What did you say, Tim?
Yeah, and that's part of what we're looking at is we're planning on being here between 7 and 10 years, and we want to turn the house and then retire somewhere warm.
There you go.
So we don't want to be in a situation where in 7 years we're breaking even at best.
I hear you. So maybe some room. You guys tell me, Bill. You guys tell me, Kristen. Is there some room maybe for some negotiation right there? Potentially, there is.
What would you do? You're like a viper on this stuff.
So you as the buyer requested the second appraisal, or the seller of the home requested the second appraisal?
The seller of the home requested the second appraisal.
Okay.
Then it's appraised.
And it's appraised.
Right, and there you go.
You're moving forward through the process.
I mean, my inclination would be that appraiser number 1 wasn't as familiar with the market area as appraiser number 2, but to have those outlier comps that aren't in the Goodrich School District and moving towards Clarkston, that's problematic for me too. Kind of would have to see to know for sure. I think you should email us those appraisals.
Yeah. So Tim, I just got the final word from the appraiser on this. Not your appraiser, but our buddy Mike Tomczyk. Mike Tomczyk says only the client can talk to the appraiser. Now, who's the client on this? Either the AMC or an ops person, not a loan officer, an ops person from the lender. Okay, so that's what he suggests. Mike Tomczyk, he says, listen, have somebody in the operations department from your lender call. Not your loan officer, cannot be a production person. We know that. That's why we never said the mortgage person. But he's even saying the realtor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure.
Yeah, he's even saying the realtor can't talk. The realtor can't get that number. So, so Mike, there you go, buddy. Thanks for texting me directly. So there's your answer, Tim. I mean, I would have an operations person, the ops manager at the lender, find out what the difference is in the two appraisals.
There you go. Good stuff.
All right. Well, I appreciate your insight. Thank you, folks.
Tim, we'd love to hear back from you and tell us what you end up doing. And again, see if you can get another $10,000 off that price there. Maybe that'll put a smile on your face. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 248-539-9797. Yeah, I mean, these things come up all the time. And again, it doesn't have to be a $50,000 swing. It could be a $15,000 swing, and you don't want to overpay for a house. But yeah, it's a lifestyle. As Harry mentioned, there's not a ton of these homes out there in the marketplace. Doesn't sound like there was a ton of sales in the most recent 9 to 12 months. So it becomes a little bit more where the sellers have to look at themselves and say, how much? What can we actually walk away with here?
Sure.
Can we sell it for a little bit less? We don't want to lose this buyer. And what are we up against? If there's no other homes on the marketplace, so both parties sort of have to look at that. Bill, tell me more.
Well, here's the thing that gets me, guys, is that as a real estate agent, you have to take control of what's going on out there. So one of the things that we do at the Toth Team is that we are there with the appraiser. The other thing is, and something that I brought over from Wisconsin that kind of made people a little uncomfortable to begin with, but it works. We are there selling the house when a showing occurs.
I gotcha.
Crickets.
No, you're good. You're
What
good.
is
You're
that?
good.
What is that?
Well-
Is that new and innovative? Was that
No.
You
Was
meet the
that
buyer's
invented
agent.
in Wisconsin?
So what we do,
You meet the buyer's
so the
agent.
difference is, and this is why one of the advantages that you have with working with our team is that we are the one that we're selling the house, not the buyer agent. The buyer agent just shows the house, right? I hate that word showing houses because I want them to sell houses, but
Yeah.
but what you need to do is you need to have somebody that knows how to turn on the light switches when you walk in the house if they're not already on, right? And who knows the house better? Who knows the house better than the agent like Kristen that's selling the house?
Right. Obviously, the sellers, then
Right.
the listing agent, and then maybe
Right.
some other individuals
Right.
who have lived in the house or really have insight on what's going on in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
Exactly.
Your meeting what separates you guys right there. Your meeting on your listings when the buyer's agents, it's just not a lockbox there. You're there. I'm going to meet it. You're going to sell the house.
Right.
Setting everyone else up for success. I like that idea. Hey, we're up against a quick break. 9:41. You got it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We'll be right back.
Down payment.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
that's huge.
believe, Becky, that they've searched high and wide and far and long because we have low down payment programs for people that have great credit. We have MISTA programs for people that have good credit and can have a minimal down. But remember, the key thing is that there are three things that you really need. You need a good credit history, you need an income, and you need a history of that income. So we have to show all of that. And so if people think that they can make the monthly payment, but they don't have a lot of money down, there's also gift funds. There's also other ways that you can get the down payment, which we would love to go over with you. So if you think you're in a situation that you can afford that monthly payment on a house that you're paying way too much in rent, like Harvey said, you got to give us a call because there are a lot of first-time home buyer programs that are low down payment. Now, I can hear the people saying, well, isn't that what got us in trouble the last time? Well, no, what got us in trouble the last time were liar loans. All right, liar loans
Liar
were
loans, I
no
like that.
doc, no income, no this, no that. I mean, stop with that already. Stop with that.
Yeah, that's definitely what jammed us all
Right,
up.
so-
and again,
so-
that along with a bad economy in 2007 or 8.
And the mortgage programs that people got put into by questionable lenders who are no longer with us, that we can't underscore that enough. So it's not the same mortgage market that it was 10 years ago. It's different. There are still plenty of programs out there that people that have minimum down payments that can afford to make the payment and that have good credit.
Yeah, so if you are a new buyer and you're thinking about entering into the home buying market, you're paying someone else's rent, you're living at home with your parents, it's never too soon to talk to a mortgage professional to set the table, set the proper expectations. If you think that your credit's not where it needs to be or you don't have enough money, let's talk about it. We're going to set you up with a great real estate agent if you don't already have one, and we're going to talk about what exactly you're going to need for your down payment, which is your down payment, your closing costs, all that stuff. So if you need $10,000 and you have $5,000 in the bank, well, let's talk about how we can bridge that gap as far as concessions. Possibly you have a donor that could give you money. You have the MISDA down payment program. So it's not a matter of, I don't have enough money and we
945, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Money. I know Ronnie J's there. You can call him. He's a Michigan State guy, if that's what you want to talk to. Of course, 248-539. Wait, hey, Harry. 248-539-9797.
I'm getting a little crud, on Facebook about wearing this blue jersey today.
Your Wisconsin folks are never going to let you go on this one.
Oh, man, they'll be waiting for me.
How's Ron Dane doing?
Oh, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there in the community. He's active in the community.
He
there.
is. He's a fantastic ambassador. His son is playing at Sun Prairie High School. He's a freshman, his youngest son. And where I lived, and I'm broadcaster there, I do the play-by-play for Sun Prairie High School for football games.
Oh, congrats. That's cool.
So when I go back for Badger home games, I do the broadcast for
Friday
football.
night.
Yeah.
Really good. And, of course, Ron Dane, former running back. Was he Hall of...
Heisman Trophy winner.
That's pretty big stuff.
I know. About to have our third one. Alamici was the first one, I believe, and then
Did we talk some sports here? 248-539-9797.
It's all about buying houses.
Hey, definitely want to throw that in. Of course, we're in a refinance time of the year. Mortgage rates are down. They did creep up a little bit. A lot of instability across the world. Geopolitical events always affect U.S.-China trade talks, impeachment talks. These things are changing mortgage rates on a daily basis. We're telling you, we're advising you. In every article I read last night, lock it in, lock in your rate.
Rates are still historically low. I mean, we did a 50-year study. We always update our 50-year study. So, look, I can tell you this, that in 1966, which is a long time ago, right, 53 years ago, mortgage rates on a 15-year fix were 4.25%. Okay, they're lower than that now.
Exactly.
So listen, if you think rates are going down to zero, they're not. Lock in your rate now. When you buy a house, lock in the rate. It's great, and you're done. And we're in a historic time where I don't know how long these rates are going to stay this low. I'm not saying they're going to go up to 17, 18% like from 1980 through 1982. For people who can remember that,
sure.
I can.
Me too.
Maybe you can.
I can.
These two can't, but that's okay.
My first house, 16%.
So listen, when you're in this type of historical event situation, lock in the rate. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy.
Yeah, and last year they're about 0.75% higher this time. So yeah, why not take advantage of it again? If rates ever drop below, if you lock in, you can always refinance it.
What's interesting for me right now is I have a guy, Mike McGee, most talented guy you've ever met. He's been in the business 30 years. Kristen and Mike worked together at one time, and he's just phenomenal. Every morning, this guy gets on the phone and calls sellers that have had their contract end, or it's called an expired.
Yeah.
Calls them. I'm so surprised people are going, well, we're going to wait till spring. Yes. Right now is the time to be selling your house. And because the market is just there for you. And their thing is, well, we'll just wait and we can get a bigger group of people. Maybe we can get that bidding thing going on.
Yeah, but you have less competition now.
Exactly.
You have less competition now.
Exactly.
And we always say it, that at this time of year, the people that are looking for houses are extremely serious. And people that have houses on the market right now are as serious, because who wants to go looking for a house in this weather and everything like that? You have to be serious. So why would you wait? We say don't wait. Put it on the market now.
Exactly.
Hey, I was going to say, surveys show that definitely first-time home buyers aren't prepared. We keep seeing this, that they're not prepared. There's not enough knowledge out there. It's sort of on the same side on the seller side.
Well, it is. But what it's really interesting for me, the first-time home buyers, especially in the Ann Arbor market, that Washington County, it's expensive to rent a house. Trust me, I know. I mean, $1,700, $1,800. Guys, you can buy a condo and pay half that in a monthly payment.
And build some equity.
And build equity, yeah. You pay yourself instead of paying a landlord, right? And it's ownership, too. And what we know, people that own property are more committed to their communities, more involved.
Way to build communities.
Absolutely.
It's just everything great about home ownership. That's never going to change.
Right.
Again, you have to have the knowledge. We always think it lies with the knowledge. You're not pushing a button and getting a mortgage. You're not going to understand your debt to income ratio. You're not going to understand that you might be looking at a payment today, but your house will be reassessed next year. If you don't have a sit down and you're a first time home buyer, I'm telling you, experience shows me that the clients that are sitting down with us and getting that knowledge behind them are having a greater experience, a far better experience than anyone who thinks they're calling around. People that are calling around are asking about interest rate because they don't know any other question to ask their loan officer. all the important stuff they're missing out on. I love the face-to-face interview. You guys
Absolutely.
have to. I mean, if buyers think they can do it over by hitting a button, well, then how come sellers always meet? You guys meet the sellers face-to-face. It'd be no different for the buyer to share that knowledge with them.
Right.
You know what? There's a trend that has not hit Michigan yet, but it's out and it's moving this way.
Uh-oh.
And they're called iBuyers.
iBuyers. Tell me
iBuyers.
more.
It's where a company just buys the house sight unseen and without putting it into a competitive market. And I think it's the most insane thing there can be, because I think they leave value on the table.
Even a lot on the table on both
Exactly.
sides. Sellers or buyers
Exactly.
aren't being represented properly.
Exactly.
Home ownership isn't something that you do over the phone.
No,
you got to
you
touch
don't.
and feel and learn about it.
Yeah,
Right.
you really do. And the internet is fine. I'm not a big fan of internet mortgage companies,
Right?
but because I've had problems with them.
Yeah. No,
They
there's
don't
no
get
doubt.
closed. They don't get closed. And so stay local, work with your local people, and that's how you get things done. Hey, I wanted to talk about the that little rental market for a second. Craig from our office, what we're working on right now is a first-time homebuyer seminar, so we can teach those home buyers, first-timers, how to buy a home
Right.
and do it in the process that needs to be done. And Craig's perfect for this because he's got I call it cop mentality, because that's what he wanted to do. But he is fabulous about this, and he'll walk down the details on it. But we need to show our population, our younger population,
Yes.
how to build equity.
Yes. They have to learn the components of home ownership. They got to learn the down payment. The
Exactly.
closing. How does all this affect you when you're purchasing a house? Lots to go. Lots to
I
learn,
keep talking.
right?
You can talk for a minute.
You were on a roll.
Hey, we do have in the office here, if you want to sneak in a call, Bill Baker and Kristen Ebert, of course, from the Keller Williams Realty team, Kathy Toss team out there in the Ann Arbor area and Dundee, and you guys work all Southeast Michigan. You guys are very knowledgeable of what you do. I've already picked up on a few things today that I think more and more people need to go with, and there's no doubt that having the experience and a team like you guys, that's the way to go. FHA mortgages, very healthy, but you got to understand if you're getting an FHA mortgage, why versus a conventional loan. Again, to us, it's always the knowledge, and we think that's where the power still lies. You guys want to add anything? We're starting to run out a little out of time here.
Well, talking about listings for a second there, and the importance. Now, there are a lot of people out there that want to try and sell their home themselves, and I get that. I've had friends do that. But I'll tell you this, most times they leave things on the table, which is money. They sell it too cheap. They don't disclose completely. They're not really ready for that process. And what I want to challenge everybody on is not that I'm promoting you use a real estate agent, but it's important that you do use one, because we know what's going on in the market. We know how to set up your house to get you the maximum value for your property. We know how to make that house look really good. We know how to put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, the great agents definitely serve a humongous purpose out there.
Right.
You got to find them. They're the top 10% of all real estate agents. We always suggest interviewing people, meeting them, finding out what their tactics are to sell a house. Of course, you mentioned it. Some of these houses will just sell immediately. They're priced in the community. The homes fly off the market. There's multiple bids.
What do you call that, Harvey? Go ahead.
What's that?
Say it.
The pocket listing?
No,
What were
the
you gonna say?
lockbox.
Oh, the
openers.
lockbox. The lockbox
Harvey calls
opener.
it the lockbox opener. Lockbox opener.
But here's the thing, though, guys. It's not about putting a sign in your yard, an ad in the paper, throwing it on the multiple listing service, and then sitting back and praying it's going to happen. It's not going to work that way today. The market has shifted. We know that. And if you're working with an agent, they will tell you that. Now, if you want to know more, you can contact us. Can I give our number
Yeah,
up?
go for it.
734-426-6669.
Yeah, we always tell people, call Capital Mortgage Funding, a 1-800-LOW rate. We'll get you set up with these great teams always. I want to talk about some young buyers real quick. Definitely an influx of first-time home buyers, the housing booms, the millennials, they're out there. They're to that age where we already had the first wave of them. The average age of these buyers are 32, 33. The first wave was like last year. We're in the midst of working with all these people, and that really could be a big boost to our economy as we get more of those first-time home buyers into homes. Are you seeing more and more young buyers starting to step up now?
Yep. I heard, and I don't know if this is a fact, but that's the biggest home buying segment right now are the millennial buyers.
Right, they are. So that'll hopefully keep moving in that direction.
They got to come out of the basement.
Yeah,
Out of mom and dad's
out of
basement.
mom and dad's basement.
They hate when you say that.
I know.
They really do.
And it's like whenever you're doing something, whether you're buying a car, I mean, take the stress out of your life. And I think the way to do it is the knowledge. So definitely sit down with people, learn what it is to buy a house, funds to close in case you might need down payment assistance or a gift from a family member. Understand debt to income ratios. We think these are very important. Of course, last but not least, always your credit. Don't jam your credit up. If you're thinking about buying a house this spring and you're at the car dealership this afternoon, well, hey, we want you to buy the car here in Detroit. But on the other hand, maybe hold off because your debt to income ratio could be severely affected by that. And again,
Check with your lender.
fine,
First.
put that car maybe in your wife's name if she doesn't have any income, or your girlfriend's name if she can get the car loan. Keep it off the income earner out there who's going to be on that mortgage. You have to learn those things. It's very important stuff.
You know, what we did recently is we hired a young lady, Caitlin Hodgkins, and who is going to be doing our social media and our post deck. Now, Kathy Toth has done a fantastic job of getting the name out there and having a presence in the marketplace, and great leadership. We really enjoy what's happening there, but we're shifting a focus a little bit to that younger buyer.
Yes.
And we have to do that, so you got to get somebody that can talk the same language.
Hey, you can meet them online, but
Yeah.
they have to get in the car and go to the house and check it out.
Absolutely.
Bill and Kristen,
pictures
thank
are-
you very much. What a great show, high energy show. Awesome again, Harvey Freed. You know, Ann Arbor's in the house. I know I don't like it there, but it's okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I love the Ann Arbor area. You guys are great. We're going to have you back.
I'll
Awesome.
bring an olive branch here.
Hey, thanks for having us out. And
All right, for sure.
on
You got it.
Wisconsin.
Go Blue.
All right, Bill
Bill Green.
Baker, Kristen Ebert from Kathy Toth's team out there, Keller Williams Realty in the Ann Arbor area and all surrounding areas, Southeast Michigan. You guys are everywhere, just like us. We do loans everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right, for Capital Mortgage Funding for Harry Glanz, I'm Harvey Free. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We got tons of sports coming up. See you next Saturday.